and welcome back to our channel. Today we're just having a little small discussion about games that age like fine wine. So yeah, pretty much just talking about games that we think that still hold up in today's time. So yeah, today we have Devin, Seth, and little Miss Jared, who still hasn't seen Avengers, by
You
the
said
way.
little miss?
Yeah,
Boy, I will.
yeah, go see Avengers and then
I am
come back
told
and
you,
talk
and
to
I'm
me.
seeing it on Monday.
Yeah, you're like 3 weeks late, but it's all
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
shut up.
But yeah, so how's everyone's day been? Pretty good?
Solid. Oh,
Solid?
by the way, happy day to all the moms out there.
Yes,
You
happy
know,
Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Happy Mother's Day.
happy Millstick. Well,
Wow.
nah,
No.
nah, you're canceled, Jared.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, bring in the next guy.
What?
Take him off popcorn.
Yep. Take them out. Take them out.
Take him out.
Replace them.
Replace.
Well,
But yeah,
if no one wants to volunteer to go first, I'll get mine out the way.
yeah. So
No.
So,
any games?
Yeah, go
so
first.
Literally.
I didn't really have games per se. I had to really think about a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um, like I was trying to think like maybe like melee, but I wasn't like trying to go for easy picks. I'm trying to think of one that applied to me more so that I could pick up. So I chose Tekken 3, the release for the PlayStation 1. I don't remember when it was released, but it was released during the 90s. Anyway, let me give you an explanation on why. So, March 1997 for the arcades, and then 1998. So, like 2 years after I was born, but I digress.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the first two games of the series, Tekken 1 and 2, like they kind of, they made their idea. It was a fighting game about the king, the Iron Fist, blah blah blah. They had their set characters and such. They weren't bad games by any means, but they were kind of um, clunky and floaty, just because of the limitations of the technology and the consoles, and also just to new game. They're like getting their feet wet in terms of the series. I can remember playing Tekken 2 a lot and jumping in that game. You can jump like maybe 3 yards in the air, and it made no sense. I can remember doing certain combos where it's like maybe a launcher, 2 hits, and another launcher that can take out maybe like 80% of your health bar, or like a grab, like do like too much damage. So they were still kind of figure out stuff while also kind of keeping up with the times. Because it was like around that time is when they started to put in 3D, PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn. It was like when they started to get off cartridges, or at least like PlayStation and Sega, not Nintendo. Tekken 3 was the first game out of the whole series where it was like, okay, shit's getting serious. It kind of went from, this Street Fighter Alpha esque kind of soundtrack, for lack of better words, to something that's like kind of edgy and progressive and dark, sorta, but at the same time it had like that cool factor. The mechanics were tightened, and they weren't so um, loose. Um, jumping was the thing I mentioned before. In that game, they kind of fixed it to where they kind of don't have to do anything with it for future games. Combos were more fluid. They also added a lot of new characters. Some people's eyes, adding a whole bunch of new characters is kind of like, eh. But in this game, they are main staples in our Tekken games now. One of them being Jin, um, who's like the son of like the main protagonist slash antagonist of 2 games. So it was a bunch of new characters, uh, good mechanics. The graphics for the time were pretty good compared to the first two, who looked, like I said, they looked like Virtua Fighter clones. So they were
Right.
all blocky, and their faces were the same because they didn't have enough to like animate the faces.
Right.
I don't think they were really doing it in 3 too, but there were little things here and there. That's when they started to animate the hands and stuff. So like when you would punch, and the fists would close, and then they would open, punching. or whatever. They also added like that was the beginning of adding side games. So they had like Tekken Force, which is like a Streets of Rage type of game mode where you can take your character, beat up a bunch of stuff. They also had like a volleyball game, and they also had throughout the series they've had like unlockable characters, but in that game there were a bunch of them. Dr. Briskanovich, which is this old man who can only like move while crouching, and he had like this little remote. But he did a bunch of stupid shit that was really cool.
Yeah.
There was this little dinosaur called Gon. He was like so short, no high attacks would hit him, and he was just overpowered as hell. Then there was a thing called Mokujin. It was literally this block of wood as a training dummy, and you can copy everybody's moves. Um, yeah, I think that game for people who have played Tekken since the beginning, or for a lot of people that was their beginning was Tekken 3. If you bring that up now, even with Tekken 7 or Tekken Tag Tournament 2, people will be more than happy to pick it up and play. Maybe a half an hour to a couple of hours, in my opinion. I know I definitely would. It'll be a nice little nostalgia, but also too, that was kind of like the beginning of when Tekken started to really hone in on itself with its mechanics and its gameplay and its characters, in my opinion. So that's kind of like my game, but I don't really have any others that apply to me. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. So, yeah. So, yeah, I guess I'll just go next. So, for me, I mean, it's probably pretty obvious, but I would say either Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or even the original Gold, Silver, and Crystal versions, along with Chrono Trigger, just in general, and even Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, just because it's very. I mean, the graphics, even for like the original Game Boy, honestly, like they did like an entirely different like U-Haul when Pokemon Yellow came out, because there was a lot of people complaining that the sprites in the original Red and Blue weren't. They didn't exactly look like they're pretty much their TV counterparts in general. So I know they kind of did a U-Haul over with that for Pokemon Yellow, which I thought was a fantastic decision.
You mean overhaul?
Yeah, overhaul. I'm sorry. I'm so it's been a long day.
Oh, I know.
Phone's been stolen, so that's a lot of fun. Kind of takes you out of it, but yeah, those. I mean, the mechanics of the game still hold up. They're still very challenging. Unlike, I heard, like Pokemon X and Y, as much fun as it wasn't as challenging as it could be. So
it was a pretty easy game.
Yeah, that's from what I've heard. I haven't played it. I stopped at Black and White too.
I played the dog shit out of that. Yeah, it was pretty easy to go through the story. There wasn't that much end game in it either.
Right. Yeah, I read.
Unless
I mean,
you're
I
like-
wanted to play just because like I heard that you got to choose between. Not only did you get your first new starters, but you got to choose between like the original Kanto, and I would have chosen Squirtle every single time. But yeah, those are just a few games, and I guess another like no-brainer would be. I mean, I want to say Witcher 3, obviously,
What?
but
That's not aged like fine wine. That shit came out.
it came
What?
out.
Yeah, that's pretty
Came out like
recent.
4 years ago.
What? No.
Came out like
Nah.
2013. 5 years ago.
2015.
Oh, 20. Was it really
Dude,
2015?
it-
Oh,
it
it
might-
was. It was.
That's
Okay,
it. That's
I take that
current
back. I
gen
take that
video
back.
game. What
I
the
take it back.
hell?
I take it back.
Jared's
Oh my
triggered.
God.
Calm down, Jared. Don't get your panties in a bunch.
I mean, I made a rule for myself to not go past the PS2 era of the games for this
That's
particular
true.
question.
Okay, I'll do your
Screw those rules.
Kingdom Hearts 2. Boom. There you go. Shut
I
up.
guess. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I was just like, I don't know. I thought you would have said something else, but you did pick Pokemon. Most of the time when we have any questions, is you always go towards Pokemon.
I know. I just
It's the
really
easy.
like
It's the
Pokemon.
easy answer for anything, boy.
It really
It's
is.
an easy answer, but it also helps that I am in love with the series. So And you
Couldn't
know,
tell.
watching the oh my gosh, I'm having a very hard time watching Super Beer Bros and their playthrough. It has been it's been very strange. I just oh my god, I don't even know where to begin. It's they have all 8 badges, and now they're literally like, well, they do like their videos on like 20-minute sections. So they're like, oh, like yeah, we're gonna spend the next few videos grinding and get ready for the Elite Four. And this one guy who doesn't have a single flying or water
Bro,
Pokemon
hold
on
on,
his team.
chill out
Listen,
before you start
listen,
roasting other people
listen,
on the internet.
listen.
Hold on.
No,
What?
I'm not gonna say names. This doesn't make any sense. This
I
one
mean,
guy.
we already know who the people are, so it's kind of a pointless.
Yeah.
It's whatever. But this one guy, he has no water Pokemon or flying Pokemon in his team. And then he's just going to sit up there and complain and be like, oh my god, I have to keep changing up my Pokemon. I'm like, well, you're the one who chose a freaking Persian and just, all right, I'm sorry.
Or maybe he didn't know how to play the game. It's not
Yeah,
that serious,
right.
bro. It's a video.
What?
Oh my god.
All right. So,
Anyway.
I say we segue to Devin's pick.
Yeah.
I'm really
Okay.
interested to see what you had
I
to
bet
say.
she's
Or
going to say
picks.
Watch Dogs.
That is aged like the finest wine possible.
No,
Ooh,
why
wow.
not?
Oh, yeah.
One of the most obvious options I'd say is the Halo series in general. That's just a game that you can always go back to no
True.
matter how long
True.
it's been.
Yeah,
I can most
but
definitely
fuck
go back to
Armor
Halo 3.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
One. Yeah, fuck you, Seth.
The Master, Master Chief Collection.
Like, oh look, I'm about to snipe you. No, you're not.
And then I will somehow find you, throw a grenade at your face.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Yeah, we were just like all right, all we have to do is camp here until he releases the trigger. You wouldn't. You just you'd hold it the whole time. You were like I have the patience of a statue. No.
Oh,
Wait, I just had a revelation.
What?
But-
What?
Does anyone have Halo anymore?
Like,
No.
no.
Oh,
I mean-
I
boy.
haven't really played console games in a minute.
Mm.
Jared's the only one that has an Xbox still, but he doesn't have Halo.
And a
Well, no,
PlayStation.
I do have Halo. I have the Master Chief collection,
Okay,
on
okay,
that.
good.
but I mean like I haven't.
That was
like,
such a good idea.
As long as someone has it, we need.
yeah.
we
No,
need
wait,
someone-
Seth, don't you have that Halo 2 original game, the original Xbox game that you bought from, oh my gosh, what was it? CD
Oh,
Gaming?
from buyback.
Yeah. For like
It's somewhere
$10.
down there. I don't know where it's at, but it's somewhere
Did
down
you ever
there.
open it?
I think I did.
Oh,
I might have. I'm not.
I have the one that's unopened.
Yeah.
oh
Devin-
Devin
I
had
got that
that's
from
right,
the exchange.
that's right. Devin has it.
I think I actually have Seth's.
Oh.
He's like,
well,
actually, man, I think I have your copy.
Yeah.
I think I
Wait,
have your copy.
Anyway, Devin, and which? Because you could go back to Combat Evolve, and it's like, yeah, this is the game that started it all, but it's like, Then Halo 2, I mean, the multiplayer is nostalgic as hell, but if you play Halo 3 most of your time, and then go back to Halo 2, you're gonna be like, eh. But I don't know. What you think? Which Halo, up to maybe Reach, was the one that aged and was has replay value outside of its competitive audience.
I mean, it's got to be 3. That's the one everyone always circulates
the
back
GOAT.
to.
Yep. I can remember that game being a game where its competitive scene was, relevant, but I mostly played it for the custom games. I'll play with you guys. We play either zombies or I don't know, whatever else that we decided to muster up. And yeah, if you go let's say if you go to Overwatch, I mean, now recently we've been playing Free For All, but it's still kind of comp is the thing to do unless you're trying to get loot boxes. But Halo 3 was just that game just captured fun
It-
outside of just having to go and play Slayer or Capture the
Slayer.
Flag.
Mhm.
Those things were fun too. So
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for you, but that game has a pretty nice place in my heart. You feel me?
Yeah, I'd say there's no better couch co-op out there.
Yeah.
That's.
That's it right there.
I mean, I guess Smash would be up there, but it's not. the same.
Yeah, Smash is in another league. But Halo, like that, I remember the trailer that still trailer, like the when it showed all the action figures. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be that shit.
I
And it
remember
was.
that E3 where they announced the Master Chief Collection. We were all freaking out.
Oh, oh man.
I
And
remember
especially
Seth was
because-
like,
because-
I lost a piece of my.
Especially because it like wasn't at a full price for
Yeah.
like a game.
Yeah, it was like, what,
even.
40
We literally were
bucks?
buying like 5 games. It was like
that was like the best deal ever, but like it had so many issues like coming up.
Yeah,
It was just-
multiplayer wise, I remember when that game first came out,
My
couldn't-
God, it was
you couldn't
terrible.
find a game. There was no finding a game unless you
Mhm.
made a game like with your friends. There was no finding like Team Slayer for like Halo 3, which I would assume be like the most popular, or like the beat Team BRs. Couldn't find a game. You should be sitting there for like half an hour. And it's like, is the game broken? I don't know if they fixed it afterwards. It didn't really stay around that long, but
Yeah, no, it's
I-
it's not the best. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
you had any other additions, Devin, besides the Halo?
I do. Definitely a smaller one is NBA Jam. I feel like-
Oh.
I feel like anyone can just pick that up and
Oh,
just like
man.
just get on
So
fire.
much. That is just
He's
fun.
on fire.
Fun.
Yeah,
speaking
and you get the big head mutators or whatever. And
I remember
those.
playing that game for the Genesis. I remember playing the Dreamcast version, and I remember they kind of kept up with it still. I think like up to like 360, right? I think there was a 360.
Yeah, there's a 360 version.
Okay.
Yeah, no, those games
That's one of the games where it's like, oh man, I want to play a basketball game, but
But
I
wanna
don't
try
have like
hard.
2K, or I don't have like
Yeah.
at the time like NBA Live when it was popping.
Oh yeah, it was the
NBA
it was
Live
winning
2005
for
was the
Yeah.
best.
NBA, no, the other games have aged like fine wines. In terms of NBA terms, is NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh yes.
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
Oh no,
most
of
definitely.
course, of
Like-
course.
Like even like yeah, I haven't played that shit in a long time, but I guarantee if I were to just play it, oh my
Between
god,
that and NFL Street, I was, oh my gosh, I was so hooked.
I would be completely gone. Like
Yeah, it's
So then,
oof.
yeah, other than that, that's my last one. It's not too old, but it's I think it's 10 years old now. Dead Space.
Oh.
Yeah, I never
that
got
game is
into that.
definitely aged well visually. Like if you go
Yeah.
back and play it, it still actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
um,
That was like one of the, I would say in my opinion, one of the first games where I legit got scared because of how
Yeah, it's scary.
gross and like eerie it was.
Yeah.
Growing up playing like very violent Mortal Kombat and shit, watching movies and stuff, I wasn't really scared of video games too much. But Dead Space was one of those games where once it got dark, I was like, nah, I can't play this. I gotta turn it off.
That's pretty much like when I watched Stranger Things. Like I didn't watch it in the dark, even though.
Oh my god, it's not even a scary show.
I haven't watched
it
it.
isn't. It isn't. And like when I was
But
watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like suspense and whatnot. But yeah.
And the thing with these games, like most of these are backwards compatible on Xbox, and they like kind of
speaking of
they kind of-
backwards compatible,
they like facelifted them to make them look better, so that definitely kind of helps with the whole.
You got the original Xbox.
Longevity.
I think-
Yeah.
my games have aged like fine wine.
Oh, what are they?
Is it? It's
Oh my god.
it's actually
Brace
it's
yourself.
actually the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Morrowind?
What?
Yes.
I thought you were gonna say Oblivion.
No, not even Oblivion, dude. It's Morrowind. The reason being is there is literally no limitations in terms of what you could do. So you know how like in these other Bethesda games more recently, you have characters that are marked as essential or certain places that you can't access unless you do certain things, right?
Alright.
Well, in Morrowind, you could do anything literally whenever you wanted. You could kill whoever you wanted, right? And then it was up to you to figure out how to actually continue the main quest. Let's say if you like if you just kill somebody just because you don't fuck with them, right? Even though they might be like an essential character, it's part of the main quest, you could still just fucking kill them if you wanted to, and then it would be up to you to like come up, like to just figure out where you need to go on your own.
I know. Sorry to interrupt, but I know my roommates told me about that game a lot. They tell me about it a lot.
Yeah,
That game doesn't hold your hand whatsoever, and that was the last game
exactly.
that did that. Before, like, I mean, even Oblivion to a point. But yeah, Morrowind's kind of like, all right, start off the game, make your character.
It just fucking throws you in there. You gotta figure
yeah.
shit out yourself.
You gotta figure it out.
Right.
I wouldn't mind because, like, I love the Elder Scrolls lore,
Yeah.
just the games. I mean, my first Elder Scrolls game was Skyrim, but
Mm-hmm.
I still love the lore behind all of it. I wouldn't mind a remaster of that game.
Of Morrowind? Well, they
Kinda
recently
off
made it. So they've been working on a mod to basically build Morrowind from the Skyrim engine. They've been working on this for several years now, basically since Skyrim came out. And it should be ready pretty soon, like within a year or two, from what I've been seeing. And you know, recently, Microsoft had backwards compatibility for the original Xbox version of Morrowind, which I think is just like that's going to give a
Morrowind.
whole nother generation a chance to play it.
Yeah, seriously.
as
though.
well. If they could even find it in a store, but I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but the
that's
good
fine.
thing about that is, I mean, even if you can't find it in the store, you can always repurchase it on the Xbox store. I think it's like $20.
yeah. I don't even know that. Now that I know
Yeah.
that,
Like
That's-
you can literally buy every single backwards compatibility game, whether it be the 360 or the original. You can buy them all on the store. So even if you don't have that disc, that's pretty nice.
It'll be a little overpriced, but still
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, I mean, like a little overpriced, but it's better than nothing.
and what's fascinating about it is, so like, if you were to play Elder Scrolls Online, the Morrowind expansion, basically where you start off, the same place that you start is where you start off in from Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and it's the same architecture and everything. It's just really like nostalgic in ESO, because the graphics are upgraded from it. It's just, but it's like you go into the building and it's literally, when I walked into the building, I was like, yo, this is literally the same as the opening sequence of Morrowind. Like my
That's pretty
memories of the inside of that specific building, everything was placed in this exact same position. I'm like, yo, this is like, it was crazy. So like,
Right.
they're very consistent with their with
Right.
where they are. Just ZeniMax and Bethesda in general. And I just really appreciate their storytelling abilities as well.
All right.
oh.
Do you have any other games?
I'm thinking.
Just don't say Assassin's Creed.
I'm not gonna say Assassin's Creed.
You know you would.
I would.
Hey,
I
Nico
would say the
Bellic.
first
Hey,
one.
cousin, want to go bowling? To go bowling,
my God.
cousin?
Oh, ooh, GTA 4. No, has not. There's too much bloom effect in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Um,
All right, well, that's actually a good transition. We could actually switch it up and do games that haven't aged well.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that game just kind of suffers from just bad game design in general. That game is a huge nostalgia factory of memories. But now that I go, because I had it for my PC, now that I go back to it, it's like,
Or the original Sonic Adventure. That game is god awful.
Now, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I feel like GoldenEye is not aged well.
no, absolutely
It's
not.
it's like all nostalgia because the game it's just
Yeah.
The
does
game
not
itself
look
is
good.
limited to the N64 because of its weird, control scheme, and also just because in general, game developers didn't get down to FPS controls, so it was really weird, and there was only one analog stick. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, the mechanics I feel like hold up, but yeah, no, nothing else. Like, no.
Like
When
people
was the
call
last?
people call it the best FPS of all
Now-
time, but it's just like no, it's
Now,
just
now, as much as I love San Andreas, you because of how it is now, it's like you need a mod to just fix certain things because
The first few Grand Theft Autos in general are pretty rough.
yeah, but like now that we're like 4 generations later, it's like you really notice what was like wrong with the games, and like it's kind of hard to get past. Like you have to have a certain mindset if you want to play older games. Like if you want to play like old like game basically games before 2008, if you want to play that shit, you gotta buckle down and like have some discipline, or either be able to
Right,
have a
that
mod in
was
there. But
great.
like
Or mod it, yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
because I remember like Randall, I saw Randall try to play San Andreas on his computer, and I was just like, I was looking at it, and I was like, this is like not. I'm like, how did we enjoy this? But then I realized that it's because we didn't know that games could get better. You know, it's just
True.
like each time our minds get blown away. Like if you remember when Skyrim was first shown, everybody was like, "Oh my god, this graphic is so fucking amazing!" Right? And now we have like God of War 4. I bet you in like 4 years we're gonna be like, "No, God of War 4 has like okay graphics."
I
Right?
still
Yeah,
don't
it's just only gonna
understand
get
what the
better
hype
from here,
about
honestly.
that game is.
It's God of War. God of War is one of the.
It's
Yeah, but like
honestly good.
everyone's like,
It
"Oh
is
my
one of
god,
the
single player games
fundamental.
still exist," and I'm like, bro,
What?
like people are using they're like, oh, they're like companies need to start making more good single player games. I'm like, there's been so many good single player games out there within the
Yeah, I
past
think
few
I, th- I
years.
think I think people who are saying that are people who just are multiplayer fanboys and don't really try to explore and search for single player games,
I'm like,
because
yeah,
literally 75% of the gaming market is single player games. However, the 25% of it that isn't just happens to get a lot of traction because a lot of people who are casual gamers only play multiplayer games. Um,
yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, this is kind of
but
weird. I was like, oh my god, God of War. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's a good game, but like, it's it's not like we haven't had a good single player
right,
game within
it's
the
like
past few years.
people are acting like The Witcher 3 wasn't a thing.
Right, like The Witcher 3 wasn't a thing, or like Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice wasn't
Or
a
near
thing.
autonoma.
Yeah, like, come
It's
on.
like, what do you,
They're
Or
out. They're
the
out
other
there.
game,
You people just
or,
aren't
or
playing
fucking
it.
Breath of the Wild? People are like, what?
Yeah, like that game's fantastic. Mario Odyssey,
Mario Odyssey, yeah.
like
Yeah,
come on, they're there. I
Um,
don't know why it's getting
one
so much
one
praise.
game to add to the pool that I have trouble coming with terms to my coming down or whatever
like
the
revisiting,
saying is.
revisiting.
Yeah, like after a lot of contemplation, I think Battlefront 2, the original, hasn't
Original.
aged that
Oy,
Yeah,
well.
I've
oy.
seen you launch that every like once in a while, and then I'm like,
I
but I
can't
only see
play
you
it
I only see
anymore.
you playing it for like
It's
maybe 10 minutes before you like quit or something.
it's
They don't really support the game
it's like
anymore.
the thing with that game is at the time it was like holy shit,
it
this is
was
amazing.
so polished.
And
Mhm.
but there are also things in the game that even if you look at it now,
Mhm.
they were kind of ahead of their time with the developers. I'm pretty sure LucasArts was the ones who made the game. There are some things in that game that could be moved to the recent Battlefronts that would totally be welcome. For instance, the instant action, right? Go in, pick a planet, pick your game type, choose whoever. Either be like the prequel characters or the at the time the recent characters, and then now you can go into the new trilogy. I mean, of course, there's browsers for like online multiplayer and stuff like that, but I used to play the game all the time with my brother, and in terms of couch co-op, that would be welcome. In my opinion, it wouldn't be that much just to make like AIs and just have like 32v32, just to fuck around and just if you're bored. Um, what else? With how we progress with class customization, even though this recent Battlefront 2 did a better job than they did before, it's still kind of piss poor in how they did the classes. And Battlefront 2's way of doing it still holds up superiorly to the new Battlefront games. Just having like your typical soldier, then having your engineer and your recon and your um, the rocket guy, and then like your special
Yeah.
ones, and then you have your Jedi or Sith. I think they could have kept that and then expanded with a customization in that without it being so I don't know. Like the way they do it in Battlefront 2 is just like, because everything was kind of hid behind loot boxes and paywalls with customization, they should have just let it be your typical, you play this class, you get this XP, you unlock this stuff. But the fun in the previous Battlefronts wasn't behind all the customization. I don't know if many people knew this, but if you get enough kills in the game with like the engineer guy, you get awards for those kills. So you kill 20 people or something like that, then it says award, the Fletchet shotgun. You switch out of your shotgun to your secondary tool, then back to the shotgun, and you have a better shotgun. It was like a little easy tool or easy reward, but that gun was really good. And I think they did it for every class in different ways. Yeah, but like I said before, we kind of fleshed out how reward systems and customization goes in class. We could have definitely done better than what it was in Battlefront 2, where it was like, okay, play this game like for 6 hours. Now you get chances to get credits to possibly get, either 50 or 100 or whatever, and then go buy the shits, and then it's just like only one more gun or two more guns.
Yeah. The new
But-
Battlefront 2 has made a lot of money off microtransactions, like over like $1 billion, and they said they have no plans in stopping. Like that's ridiculous.
But also too, like visually, the game is like, even if I modded it to hell, it doesn't look that good. The mechanics in general just feel really clunky. Like it's nice that you were able to switch between first person or third person, but like going into first person is kind of cancer because of how the sprinting works and like the barrel rolls. Like the aim down sights is kind of like it just goes to a scope. Like it doesn't even like show you looking into it, kind of like how it does like for instance like Battlefield, where it shows like the scope coming to your eyes, just like boop. And there's like the bullets, because they're just lasers. I mean, there's no recoil for anything. But there's also like a lot of bullet spread, especially like with the automatic rifles. The grenades were just like whatever. It can range from a grenade not killing anybody to killing like 30 people. The det packs were wonky. Like sometimes they would try to send them off and they wouldn't go off. And just in general, like the force powers for some reason didn't work that well unless you're pushing people. Like if you gotta push a pull one, rarely ever worked. But the push ones were kind of overpowered. And then Jedis in general in that game were overpowered as shit. As much as we loved them, they were like really bad. Especially like Darth Maul. But yeah.
Darth Maul.
Well,
Well, yeah. Was there anything else you guys wanted to cover, or do you guys want to kind of just end it there?
Add Tomb Raider to the list.
what? But the original ones?
That pointy ass polygon.
Listen, bro. Okay. There's been 3 iterations of Tomb Raider. There's been the pointy ass polygon ones, where her titties were like fucking pyramids. Oh god,
That makes no sense.
And then there was the second round of iterations, which was like early Xbox 360 cycle and stuff. And those I think are some of my favorite Tomb Raider games that I've played. I think I've played all of them, but it was so long
Tomb
ago that
Raider.
it was just like
Yeah.
But yeah, and then this new rebooted one is extremely well done.
Oh,
But
they're
the
amazing.
polygon ones, nah, dude, you can't get past that. No,
It's bad. Like, what were they thinking?
Even the fucking
They had to all
dude.
be versions.
Dude,
All those
okay,
developers were
like,
versions,
like,
100%.
like, okay, hopefully we can put a picture of the Tomb Raider box art on this fucking video so you guys can see this horrible trash. But like, oh my god.
I remember I had the the first Tomb Raider on PlayStation One, and like it set the world ablaze, and like kind of became one of the mascots for PlayStation. But I can remember like that game being so difficult to play because
It's
the
so
mechanics
clunky and
Oh.
glitchy.
trash, and I remember the
Wow.
graphics were just like everything was made out of pyramids or trapezoids.
Right.
And then there's that creepy butler. I wish I could kill him, but I couldn't. I
Yeah,
tried to trap him into the giant either refrigerator or whatever.
yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's all right.
God.
Well, yeah. If there was nothing left for anyone to, add to the list, I think we can wrap this one
I'm
up here.
thinking.
Huh,
Okay, Doom 1.
dude?
People
What?
still
I haven't
Okay, look,
even.
look, look,
I've
look, look.
never played it.
Okay, for what it is, for being a first-person shooter, and for what it is, and being able to fucking port it to a TI-84 calculator, is it's kind of cool. But like, I don't really know if it's aged well.
I don't think it has. Just because we're
Um,
like that. That was also one of the games where at the time we didn't really get down how FPS control like how they are now.
Yeah.
Kind of like it, Doom, Duke Nukem, and like I don't know, like Wolfenstein. They didn't really have a way to aim, so it's kind of like you point in this general direction, the bullet should hit that person up there.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they would just have it on the same level as you.
You can get Duke Nukem.
No,
You guys remember that
no,
reboot?
No.
You
no.
ready? You guys excited for the John Cena Duke Nukem movie?
No.
Absolutely.
What? Excuse me?
That's a thing.
I am offended.
That's whatever. All right.
That doesn't. Are they gonna
Let's-
dye his hair blonde? Is he
They
gonna
have to.
neo-Nazi?
I don't know. Not entirely sure. But yeah, we're pushing like 40 minutes here. So
Pushing 40 minutes.
We're
Let's
gonna-
make it 45. All
my
right.
God.
Uh,
yeah, we're just gonna end it right there.
No.
Thank you all for tuning in. God,
Wait.
don't forget to dude.
Do we have a broke boy deal before they forget to?
I thought
Like
we were
the-
doing that on Twitter.
I mean, you already mentioned it, so I might
Yeah.
as well bring up something. You know what I'm saying?
Humble Bundle's
So
having a
if you
sale.
want to go on Steam, you can get Mad Max for a whopping $4.99. I've been playing that lately because of Origin Access, but game's pretty cool. You get Sims 3 for $4.99.
Jared, Rise.
Oh, currently on Humble Bundle. I'm not sure. Is that still a thing? Is that for this month?
Such
I think
a
it's still
terrible
going for at
bundle.
least
Okay,
a
so
little bit
on the
more.
Humble Bundle, you can get the Crytek bundle, right?
Terrible
for-
bundle.
Let's see. If you pay $10, right, you can get a whole bunch of shit. If you pay $15, you can get a little bit more shit. But the $10 is the only one that's worth it because they have Rise in there.
Oh my
And-
God.
Yeah, a little backstory.
Yeah, me and Devin have history of playing Rise.
It's a weird ass
multiplayer.
affinity we
Once-
have for Rise.
We played it. We played it once, right? And we thought it was the greatest multiplayer we've ever fucking played. But we only played it once. And is very interesting, very well done. However, the loading screens are long, but that's typical of a Crytek game because of the heavy amount of graphics.
And the graphics do look really nice still.
Yeah.
My God.
I would say another thing, Tiny Build. I guess it's a developer. They have a whole entire sale for their 5-year anniversary
And
for having games. Games notable, Hello Neighbor. If you're into that, that's a nice $20 right now. If you're willing to pay for that much, I heard that game is pretty good. You also get
It looked
Speedrunners.
interesting.
Speedrunners is a game I play with my roommates. This game is hella fun. Definitely should cop. It's $5. Why not? If you ever got time when you got your buds over, want to play a couch co-op game, boot up some Speedrunners. It's great.
And Destiny 2 is $12 on.
Oh,
this
yes,
month's-
it is.
It should be
That
12
price drop.
cents.
That price drop so low.
I bought it
12
because
cents.
I was like, why not? Well, there's no risk anymore, from $60 to $12. So I subscribed to it for like a few minutes and then I just unsubscribed. But yeah, I mean, it's not the best game ever, but I was playing with it a little bit for $12. Sure, why not? But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell us what games we might have missed or overlooked that you think that have been aging like a nice, fine red Dornish wine. So,
Or some doo-doo wine. Either way.
Listen, we wine. Listen,
Oh
we
my
got the
God.
heart healthy wine, or you got the ass that makes you puke.
Right.
Or just scrap the wines, and get some.
Exactly.
Or just
Yeah.
tell us a game that is like whiskey.